yeah. Back like the man never left. Watch his mouth open up like a damn treasure chest. Plus this cat never rests. And a newborn baby never had fresher breath than this lad when he reps. Plan to cash many checks. And tell me who don't wanna get a few notes. Let me get a true bowl. Yo, I'll tell the truth, bro. My wallet's in a plaster cast, cause they said I'm too broke. I'm not telling you jokes, so holding the laughing. I'm totally starving for those who are asking. But I'm here to let you know I've been grafting. My soldiers are marching through that path where the oceans are parting. And I'm Cobra commanding, but never been a snake. Any friend I think is fake, but I tell him in his face after selling him a tape. Make him clean up the mess that jealousy creates and then send him into space, a disgrace. He once had it, but he probably lost it. Like the key to the game, he's a wannabe locksmith. A leader in his day, but now he's not in the cockpit. They treat him any colder, then he's gonna be frostbit. But ask me, I'll tell him, don't worry, I got this. Just ask me, I'll tell him, don't worry, I got this. If they ask you, bruv, tell him, don't worry, I got this. If they ask you, just tell him, don't worry, I got this. Like, zippity-doo, skip to my loo. No point in asking what he did, it's what didn't he do. Wishing you knew. He used to middle finger the rules. A slick ass who used to skip class thinking it's cool. Picture a fool out for more honeys than Winnie the Pooh. Saying, look, I'm chilling with you long as you're ditching your crew. Had a crowd of girls yearning for his didgeridoo. But now he's round the world learning what he didn't in school. Kicking the mule, stick a move, never missing his tools. You can give him 20 minutes, but he'll fix it in 2. Still in the groove like a needle, never skipping a tune. We got the funk right here, come take a whiff of the fuse. It's like somebody took a shit in the room. Him and the mic go together more than witches and brooms. Creating magic dated back when he was still in the womb. And have your favorite rapper shaking as they visioning doom. While people say he once had it but he probably lost it. Like the key to the game, he's a wannabe locksmith. A leader in his day but now he's not in the cockpit. They treat him any colder than he's gonna be frostbit. But ask me, I'll tell him don't worry, I got this. Just ask me, I'll tell him don't worry, I got this. If they ask you, bro, tell him don't worry, I got this. If they ask you, just tell him don't worry, I got this. Like I got this like, I got this like Billy Brim, MysDiggi, ha. Mother lovers.
Yo, HFM 105.15. My Natural born spitters, top of the food chain. If you want it, then I'll bring it to where you live right now and have your missus wishing she never been tied down. This my time when the shit slides out of my king-size mouth. I have you rappers shitting your insides out. And I'm heading for a big prize now, cause my flows run deeper than Barry White's vocals pitch right down. In a couple 100 years, I'll be on some big white cloud. Well, there's people still buzzing off the stuff I did right now. My S to the troll, always ready to roll. And blessed with a flow from his head to his toe. I'm just letting you know, cause once I've entered the zone, I'll take you for a rougher ride than rhino back over some pebbles and stones. And there's no point in asking if I'm ill. I need some medication right now. Oi, nurse, pass another pill and I'll be rolling in a little track, talking on gorilla dust. Beef at the swine and hold a middle finger up. You can't see me cause I'm deadly with it. I'm a gallon of Ray and nephews, you're just a glass of martini with a cherry in it. I make everyone know my soul come live. Stay tuned to Itch 105.15. 105. Yeah. 105.15. This is the natural born spitter maestro. Shout to all the HFM listeners.
I need you.
Yeah.
I want you, baby.
You're damn right, listeners.
I need you.
All the ladies.
I want you, baby. I need you.
Yeah.
I want you, baby.
Yeah, ladies.
I need you.
Ladies.
I want you, baby.
Yo, but do you want my baby? Yo, do you want my baby? Tell me if you really want my baby. Yeah, it's FM. Jargon, where you at? Valiant, Diligence, MI5, Natural Born Spitters, top of the food chain. Look, feeling as trapped as a parrot in a cage, but shackled as a slave, just imagining the places you haven't been for days. Trying to look back on life like, has it been a waste? But they can only answer that when they have you in your grave. So until that day comes, keep planning your escape. There's bound to be a way to move the latches from the gates of the sadness that you hate. That can have you in a state that you get carried away with. Instead of carrying it away, learn to channel it in ways to forget those things that make you wonder to yourself how it could get so grim. That doesn't get no wind, cause when the stress makes them question how'd you get so thin, you need to spread those wings and do it now if you feel you need to. Look up to the skies if you need to see them. It might take time, although you need to see it. Cause trouble's a sign, that means you really need to. Yeah. And to those posing as a chick in the nest, bringing the stress so full of life, but then sounding like you're clinging to death. Yeah, you've earned yourself a bit of respect, but you really need to learn as well. You give what you get, or you can live with regrets, trying to figure which decision is best. And as time goes by, you just sink in the depths, still in the mess, sitting with the depressed who try and move forward, but they're always missing a step. Heading close to the edge, and when the blind lead the blind man, you know the rest is just a sign of the times. It's best to take flight to where horizons are wide before you fall victim to the crimes of the mind. And you'll find that in time you soon forget those things that make you wonder to yourself how it could get so grim, when every chance that you're left with seems to get so thin that maybe mentally you need to spread those wings and do it now if you feel you need to. Look up to the skies if you need to see them. It might take time, although you need to see it. Cause trouble's a sign, that means you really need to. There's different birds of a feather round the world flock together. Some are hurt from the pressure, some have learned what is better, some have earned what they measure, some are searching for pleasure, some will work till they're fed up, others certain to mess up. Some have learned from the get up like they've heard of the setup, others yearn for a leg up and a turn to be next up, searching for treasure, while some circle the leisure, think they're worthless, and fed up feeling cursed for their pleasures. But for every moment that time takes to find space, there's a moment to migrate your mind state. So fly straight to where the sun shines for you, and you know there's a piece of enough mind for you. Cause once life bores you, it's a threshold thing. See how long you can last before you get roped in. First you start losing focus and then go thin. Before that happens, you should know you need to spread those wings and do it now if you feel you need to. Look up to the skies if you need to see them. It might take time, although you need to see it. Cause trouble's a sign, that means you really need to. And do it now if you feel you need to. Look up to the skies if you need to see them. It might take time, although you need to see it. Trouble's a sign, that means you really need to.
Don't follow. I'm trying to get to tomorrow intact. I might see you stress me out. Let me tell you what like this about. Yeah. You won't catch me on commuter trains at 8:30. I free line at 9:30 and I'm still not late. You'll never see me after work pouring money down my throat, talking shit, gaining weight for the sake of a joke. Or with the other suits in the gent sitting the coke. I like a smoke, but I always keep an eye on my notes. Yeah, you could call me self-righteous, but I'll never lose hope. You'll never see me 9 to 5 getting over to coke. Not a typical life, I dream wilderness ways. I resisted being villainous back in the days. I was the one, see my friends walking for fun, ripping car radios out, then run. I'm up the ginnel quicker than the rest because I didn't smoke full belt round the corner. This is no joke, heard the helicopter buzzing overhead. It's time for me to be out, time to get selfish. I can't be getting nicked for what someone else did, blended with the bushes till shadows melted. And when the sun came up, it was less hot. Stepped off down the cobblestones at a trot. I'm off to write rhymes and I made the right choice. And I know a lot of people take issue with my voice. Even though we're all equal, I'll be making my cream. The British state of mind and the American dream. Peer pressure, you make your own mistakes. Don't drag me in, I'm trying to elevate. It's peer pressure, you make your own mistakes. Don't drag me in, I'm trying to elevate.
Course I ain't happy about what's happening now. Stuff ain't going too well for you, so now you're dragging me down. And that is just foul, so play fair. Stop acting like you don't know. My struggle in this jungle is just standing on my own toe. And most won't admit the fact that times are hard. I say they kinda are, but still life is large. Man, I'm planning to make it big, you know, rhyme with stars. And have major companies bidding for me, buying me cars. Being my own shows, peddling across the earth. People I don't know, begging me to drop a verse. But what's this word? You ask, I say not everything, mate. But I swear I'm trying to be, I said don't get in my way. Just stay in your place. Don't grab on me when problems are invading your space. Cause that's for me, blood, if I make a mistake. I've only myself to blame, plus I've dealt with pain. And the sunny side's always better once you felt the rain. So deal with it, your umbrella is your mental state. I can't be the only one that's keeping my friends awake. And I know you ain't told me everything you meant to say, but we can set things straight cause that was yesterday. And day out and day in, you might notice all these strange things, but realize I'm going through the same thing. The art from the start is maintaining and training the brain. And of course, like they say, with no pain there's no gain.
It's peer pressure, you make your own mistakes. Don't drag me in, I'm trying to elevate. It's peer pressure, you make your own mistakes. Don't drag me in, I'm trying to elevate. It's peer pressure, you make your own mistakes. Don't drag me in, I'm trying to elevate. It's peer pressure, you make your own mistakes. Don't drag me in, I'm trying to elevate. It's peer pressure, you make your own mistakes. But don't drag me in, I'm trying to elevate. It's peer pressure, you make your own mistakes. But don't drag me in, I'm trying to elevate.
I'm trying to elevate, I'm trying to elevate. I'm
Don't
trying to
follow.
elevate, I'm trying to elevate.
Trying to get
I'm
to
trying to
tomorrow.
elevate, I'm trying to elevate.
I don't need you to stress me out.
Go find a better space.
www.MysDiggi.com, mother lovers. Yo, my name is Look, okay, so for the second time skills, I need to shout you, my friend. Cause that time of year's come around here again. Plus a bunch of people round from my ends are telling me they want the UK wrap up for 2010 now. Endup's campaign for bullying to quit until Dappy's voicemail of him bullying a chick. Though they proved it wasn't time up yet. With 3 #1 albums in a row, that defines success. The plan B's in need of a celebration. For real, this whole year's been reeking of elevation. From movie screens across the nation to having kids who can't research for the meaning of defamation. This year a lot of decisions were hard to make, like who's a better singer, Sher Lloyd or Chardonnay? Hey versus Harrison actually got us hype until we watched it like, wait, this is actually not a fight. It looked wrong like my chipped up teeth and lasted about as long as that low-key and chipmunk beat. The underground handed backpacks in while gigs proved the critics wrong and showed them all what the cat dragged in. As for England's performance at the World Cup, the way that man played, it felt like they never even turned up. Who else felt Rooney should have stepped aside for good? Instead, this fool got caught doing the Tiger Woods. George Michael locked up, Gaz was drinking and driving. And I'm telling you as if that's surprising. We learned most of Messi with their business. And also to never introduce John Terry to the missus. Before WikiLeaks were trying to bring the truth, Charlie Sloth was blasting off with them fire in the booth. Salute to you for showing talent matters, as long as he promised to never invite them young buddy rappers. The bro paid a little visit, that cost the country 20 mil and most are still waiting for the visit. Macy caught a win, though the voice on that girl was annoying as hell and made you want to poison yourself. She still gained respect from most people. And big up to Rinse FM for going legal. There's a royal marriage on the way, but I swear there's more excitement at the fact it means we get another bank holiday. Before that great news from Kate and William, who remembers giggling to Caramel's no chicken wings? If you see KG or Marston, thank them. They had us all laughing at Shadrach and Amanda. While independent artists struggle to make a wager, MPs like David Chater were making paper. We learned even politicians twist their rules. The same year we found out being a dickhead's cool. Finally, Big Brother has disappeared now. I say that like that's something we really care about. The truth is we'll just have to face it, cause even those who hate it were trapped in the X Factor matrix. Everyone has got nuts and what's nuts. Now them auto-tune and miming fiascos didn't stop much. I should be making
making this up. But ironically, ironic found Twitter to be the pain in the butt. Dubstep plays the competition. Everybody in their grand knows the words now to Katie on a mission. Well, Magnetic Man got the people's love too. Pro Green showed he was a monster in the jungle. That's gotta mean that he's big, man. You see what he did with that next level 360 vid. How that was done still baffles me, but not as much as Mobo's getting rid of the DJ category. Some felt that it was time that she came out. Ireland was in need of a financial bailout. England won the cricket because Pakistan were paid to lose. And it's true, a lot of rappers started making moves. From what I saw though, this guy was everywhere. So we can't deny that 010 was Tiny Temper's year. The kid was living large, he made us pass out and then get frisky, as if it was written in the stars. Plus he brought Labyrinth out the background, who truly let the sun shine with clear skies, no ash cloud. Even Simon Cowell had to respect his vision, signed him up with no need for reality television. Award for most Twitter beef besides a lot of laughter. Well, that's gotta go to Grimes' Godfather. He made the net go a little bit wild, even more so when he uploaded them zip files. And while people joined Twitter cause of Wiley, Skepta got the go-ahead to introduce Diddy on a grind beat. Diddy still remains kosher. He brought the year's big players on the field, then showed us it's game over. While Craig David was still taking time out, Ricky Hatton got caught doing the Amy Winehouse. And speaking of snow, that hit us hardcore and became more reliable than public transport. Andros Santos was eating kangaroo meat, I mean on TV, and it really was a kangaroo's meat. He chewed it like it's food. Award to Jessie J for breaking through to show us all she can do it like a dude. From independent turning major, and now she's about to do more damage than the Peckham Terminator. Oh yeah, there's more, but before that gets me sidetracked. R.I.P. Gregory Isaacs. Remember Lethal B and N-Dubs were beefing like Lord Sugar and Piers Morgan via tweeting. Shout to Naomi Campbell. Believe there's an unbelievable award that I've got to hand you. The Hung Parliament formed a coalition. Clegg bent over and Cameron took position. And now the government have plagued us with madness. They're cutting all the funding, but they've raised up the taxes. They should have known we would have gone quiet. No wonder student demonstrations turned into some full-blown riots. We had to add colder, cause them cutting benefits were messed up. And that's worth to Wagner's bad shoulder. When people said Ayo from the family couldn't rap, Devlin definitely put Dagenham on the map. And these doubles name flocked the streets like the pigeons when he dropped the Street Fighter rhythm. For the World Cup bid, we sent the 3 Lions to learn it's either been rigged or someone's been lying. I hope Susan Boyle inspired some people. She did something that ain't been done since the Beatles. Look out for MysDiggi, the album you'll be getting from me. You know that's bound to get a mention, cause now we're at the ending. A shout to those out that I'm forgetting. Welcome to 2011.
This One Extra.
You're now listening to Fizz.
La 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 la, it's the UK rapper. La 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 la, la la la. It's time for the UK. Listen.
I was not plugged in, bro. What's going on, mother lovers? Welcome back to another Something You Might Not Never Know Nothing About podcast with myself, MysDiggi. You know what I mean? As your host and my co-host right here, man in the boards, Dan DNA, of course. And as always, mother lovers, it's been a minute. You know what I mean? As always, I've got to apologize for not being around. We've been a little busy putting some work in. Shout out to all the features I've been working on. You know what I mean? You lot will hear about that very soon. Went gigging as well with Smokey Joe and the Kid, you know, the French band that I work with. So that's been a bit crazy as well, getting back on the road. Shout out to Yoshi. Big up Smokey Joe, Senbei, you know what I mean? Max, PJ, Yeah, I mean, all the crew, man. I'm missing out some names. Olivier. Yeah, I could say it in a French way, but you lot probably laugh anyway. You know what I mean? But Dimitri. Yeah, big up all the Ron Ron. It's Ron, but you have to say Ron Ron. Yeah, it's like, bruv, the twang. You got to mix it up, man. When you get out and about, you know what I mean, mate? Yo, shout out to Les Allison. Big up to LJM Records. What's going on? You're more. What's going on? Love. R.I.P. to MC Alkaline for real, boy. Jeez. Gunshot, man. If we had some gunshots right now. Man, MC Alkaline. When I say to people, you know, from Gunshot, how old was I? Probably like 9, 10 or something like that. And this guy he was the guy who got me to Rhyme, actually. Rhyme Assassin. Wayne, big up to Rhyme Assassin, man. Haven't seen him for years. But he, you know, he used to, like, his older brother would collect records and whatnot. And so he'd, like, I guess his thing was always sneaking in the room and listening and watching, you know, like looking at the back of records, reading, you know, checking out the covers and all that. And so, yeah, we used to do that. You know, when I linked up with him, going to his brother's room when he's out, you know what I mean? His brother, I think his brother was a DJ maybe, but he's definitely a collector. Going there, bam. You're looking at all these different records, like, wow, what's that? EPMD, oh, wow, like, you know, it just looked like, it's like from the comics, you know what I mean? From the comic days, you're looking at these records, like, wow, all the different colors, the style, like the typography and whatnot. And, you know, it might be Red Man with them, or you'd see like a LL Cool J cover, or, you know what I mean? All these different, and then listen to the records and that. And, yeah, man, I just remember we used to write down the lyrics. So it might have been, I think, I remember doing Rakim or something like that at the time when this happened. But we write down the lyrics so that we could rap them back. Do you know what I mean? Them sort of days. And then one time he was just like, why don't we write our own? I was like, what? And like one of them records was like, you know, from Gunshot, what that we used to look at. I think it was Battle Creek Brawl, I believe. Yeah, it must have been Battle Creek Brawl, of course. I mentioned it on that R.I.P. remix. And, you know, that tune is like, you know, everything we're seeing is American. But then you look at the cover, like they were standing on this rubble. It was like, you know what I mean, some kind of, maybe an estate had been broken down or whatever, some big building. And they're standing on all this rubble. And it's just like, rah, it looked cold. But it's like, yeah, they're from London, though. They're from London, rah. You know, and Alkaline, man, his style, like blatantly, that's the first style that, you know, when you start rapping, it's like you emulate somebody. Yeah, it was his style. That's why no one's ever heard me rap American, because, you know,
from early days.
Yeah, it was. I was influenced by the English thing, and and obviously his thing was more like kind of yardie. You know what I mean? Like English twang, dep on the mic, I rap a chat, my lyrical mic, yeah, that kind of thing. That's the lyric. I think my first ever lyric was something like that. Dep on the mic, I rap a chat, my lyrical miming. I'm at the top of the tree and you're still climbing like a monkey. Sitting on top of the rhythm because the rhythm is so funky. See what? If you test my lyrics because they're hardcore. Something like that. You know, I'm only like 10, 11 by now. And man, but it was off the back of his style for sure. And you know, like my name, obviously my name, people who know me, my name's Kevin, by the way. Yeah, it's not as exotic as I'd like it to be, you know what I mean? So don't laugh. I don't know why you're laughing, D, because you know how...
Alkaline's name was probably Kevin as well.
That'd be sick if it was. But yeah, anyway, so, you know, my name then, because I was the youngest in the crew, was Baby Kevin, Baby K. You know what I mean? But then I added that, like, Ragamuffin BK. So I was like, yeah... It's so funny.
You had like the tall hat on.
I didn't go that deep, but I was like trying to, you know what I mean? Be like a ragamuffin jacket. With the pins, you know, like the pins.
Pin rolls.
Yeah, pin rolls.
Burn it in socks.
Yeah, there was, oh my days. Pin rolls, burn it in socks, boy. The NAFA jackets and all that. Yeah, it was like, you know, but then it was like Goose Downs and all that.
Chevy on.
And then, Chevy on. What was it called? Was it Pepe? Not Pepe.
C17. C17.
C7Es, boy. That's an era, man. That's crazy. Yeah, and so, you know, whenever I hear the name Alkaline, it's like, man, that guy. So it's like, it's a massive loss, man. And it's a real big shame as well, because I feel like they were kind of getting back out there and getting their flowers as well for what, you know, the way that they paved with their music. So yeah, that's a massive
Still,
loss.
still under recognized and
Definitely,
still,
definitely, man. Definitely
Yeah.
still under recognized. And people, you know, it's a shame that a lot of people will never really get to experience what they brought to the table with their style.
Yeah.
Like their style of hip hop was like, it felt like UK, this is from London type thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It wasn't just any old, like, not to say everything was any old, but it wasn't like it just sounded like American hip hop or whatever. It
Yeah.
sounded like, right, it's hard. Do you know what I mean? It
It's
was hard
hardcore.
music. Yeah, it was hardcore.
It's
definitely
UK hardcore. I mean, that's where the whole UK style really
yeah, it's
was.
true. It's true.
Silver Bullet.
Yeah,
You know, you had
yeah.
that sort of style that
Yeah.
came about 1990 onwards.
Yeah, where you're just screaming down on my yeah.
Yeah.
It was like that Aggie.
But
you know what I
for-
mean? So when you hear the Aggie mice,
Yeah, that's it. That's
Yeah,
Well, that's
where
coming
it
up.
comes
At some,
from.
yeah. And it's although people might think that the UK scene has sort of happened quickly. It's sort of happened quickly and slowly at the same time. Is that there's been like spurts of activity. So it's been, you know, there's like a spurt of activity around the early 90s.
Yeah.
Then there was a spurt of activity around the late 90s. You know, so it's sort of like it's a long-term thing as well. It's been happening since the 80s. You know, the UK scene has been it was the first. It was outside America. It's probably like, because it's English speaking.
Yeah.
It's probably like the first place that it actually got established as well.
yeah, I mean that's
Yeah,
how it
so-
sort of happened for a lot of people. You know, it's like older brothers or family, older
Yeah.
members were already you had family that were in New York, say, and then so those older members of your family would be traveling back and forth, and then they'd bring back these tapes, bring back
Yeah.
these records, bring back this, you know, culture and all that people started getting into, especially, and the breakdancing thing even, that was like, I remember similar thing. I was saying to somebody about, like, for me, the way that I got introduced to hip hop wasn't like this is all the same thing. It was like different elements were introduced to me at different times and through
Yeah.
different ways. You know, like Graph was through a friend I think Didi, I think I used to go maybe play center with him or something like that. And then we got older and then he showed me, he actually did a Graph piece and it was, oh yeah, that was it. It was Art is Life and Life is Worth Living. Yeah, and that was something that stuck with me from a long time then. But seeing all this stuff and then with breakdancing and all that was like, obviously, you see the stuff that you see on TV or whatever, but was like my godparents, so my godbrothers, one time they were just like, oh, come, we're going to go, you know, I couldn't remember what they called it, but they went and put in the landings, you know, in the flats, in the landings, they put down the cardboard and whatnot, and then just started, you know, practicing breakdancing. I was like, wow, what, you know? And then obviously with the rap thing was a different time, but I didn't realize it was all, you know, part of the same culture type thing. And so for a lot of people, that was how they got introduced to it, was through American hip hop. And so it's no wonder that a lot of people had that style with them, you know, like you see it everywhere anyway. In France, I see it all the time. People dress up like they're in the 90s still, you know, in New York type, blah, blah, blah. But so that's what's, I think, to me, is the interesting thing about it, is then the evolution of it. And then, like you said, I think the spurts happen because it's like you're taking on this thing that came from somewhere else, but you're doing it here and then trying to, I think it's almost like through those stages was like a sort of molding, an understanding of what makes it, do you know what I mean, like from here, and not just like a kind of a proxy from New York or whatever. And that's probably happened all over the world, to be fair. Even in America, you know, it's like there were people originally sounding like they were more New York, but they might have been from Kansas or from, you know, down south somewhere or whatever. And then over time, they start finding their own style. And so now you've got this, you know, it's a kind of mesh of, there's rap involved in it. So what do you call it? It's like this, that, and the third. But a lot has happened, man, since them sort of days. You know, when you think about, like, I think just the voice alone, being able to talk with our own voice, has really paved the way for a lot of things to happen. Even like singers, pop singers. Do you know what I mean? That, what's her name? Sophie Ellis Bextor. People, you know what I mean? Where they're singing with their own accent or whatever. Yeah, I think like UK hip hop has a lot to be proud of in that sense. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, man.
Yeah, and it was like I'm finding it difficult to say what I was going to say. It's like it's slow and fast at the same time. Is that it feels to people that maybe everything happened quite fast, but actually, when you look at it, it actually happened really slow.
Yeah.
But it feels like it's so things like Gunshot is that they got sort of passed over because that time was over really quickly. Like that spurt was just there and then it was over and then the next thing was happening and people were moving over to the East Coast again and it became, the East Coast became big in the early 90s again and West Coast obviously.
Well, I think like part of it as well is just like like I was saying, we're still in the development stages at that time.
Yeah.
Because
definitely.
it's like
hadn't even found the proper voices. Yeah,
exactly. The proper voices, the proper way. Like even we spoke about it with them a while ago. It's like even how to market it. It was just like, you just did it and someone put it out type thing in it. But there are all these other elements that you see, like say Wu-Tang for instance. Is like they RZA and the crew. They made sure that they had. It was like all solid. It's like, this is what it is. This is the emblem. These are the things that we're going to say. This is the logo. This is, things that it was like, rah. You could see that they already had this work. He's the Abbot. He's the, they had all different names for each other and all that. Like, and so it created this world, innit? Whereas here, London Posse, I guess, created a sort of world and having the name London Posse as well probably helped with that. And then the fact that they went pretty. It was like, a Yardie English style and then a Cockney English style.
Yeah, I think that is like the big. That's probably the first time when it was more of a UK sound.
As well, yeah. And I mean, they definitely flew the flag in that sense. There's a lot of other artists
up against
as well.
like Hijack, say, where you've got a mixture of like English and American sounding, and it's just, it's very influenced by America. And then you've got London.
But you've got the Yardie style as well in there.
And then you had like around the same time, Ragga Twins. Start getting that in the early, 1990, where you start hearing this sort of like
Ragga Twins.
Yeah. So you sort of start hearing that voice coming through in all of the, the early sort of proto jungle stuff. And
well, I'd love to chat to, Shawnee T. I had a good chat with Bionic and Rodney P about it. Who else? There's someone else who was mentioning that there was like over here, so around, the 70s, 80s, you had like the Shubs sort of dances in it, and it was more dancehall based. And so obviously a big, massive West Indian influence, a lot of Jamaicans and that. And so they're doing it in that twang. But then some people who had been brought up here, so in the sort of early 80s to mid 80s, people that have probably grown up here longer than they've developed the Cockney sort of
Smiley
accent.
culture.
And then, it's just things like that, exactly. So, then they'd bring in this sort of like English sort of Cockney style with the ragga. Cockney ragga, they would call it Cockney ragga. But yeah, it's like they started bringing that in, and then that was what influenced a lot of, UK, sort of early UK rappers, do you know what I mean? Into making like hearing that and then hearing the American thing, they're like, so let me try and rap with my own accent, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That type of thing. So it's really interesting, man. That would actually be a pretty good documentary, even just like UK sort of go to different countries and that, and then find out how they got to their true identity within it all. Something like that, innit?
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
No, it's good though. It's good. It'd be a good series. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, something like a
shouldn't
series.
have put it out there because BBC's probably listening. They'll take it up.
Oh, trust me, they are, man. Look, Malteser said they ain't gonna help me out. I was like, yo, you lot messed up, man. I've been shaving my head every damn 2 days for this shit. And now you ain't, man. What am I gonna do about that? Big up to King Chico in the building. Salute, Mr. Green. Yep. Phil Trainer, what's going on? Man says, stopping by quickly. Drop a like, enjoy your stream. Hey, drop a like, mother lovers. Let's get some likes up there. You know what I mean? We know it's been a minute. We've been putting our heads together and trying to work out the best move from here on. Because it feels like we've got to say more or less everything we needed to say, that we needed to get out there, that we felt like people might need to communicate about. Big up to Alan Stephen. You know what I mean? So it feels like, not say to stop doing, something you might not never know nothing about. We love learning new stuff in it all the time, but we should open it up, start doing something new. You know what I mean? In terms of a podcast, we're not going to give you too much at all, really, because, like we said, we're putting heads together and try and work out different concepts. The idea is obviously, the talent is there, the style is there. We know what to do when it comes to streaming and whatnot, but we got to open it out and make it worthwhile for everybody in this mother lover. Do you know what I mean? With all of this, we really enjoy it, but, there are a lot of people that can't deal with too much truth or reality. Maybe I should say reality. 'Cause apparently everyone has their own truth. I don't know about that there, but yeah. There's a bit of belief. But yeah, anyway, so, the thing is, we don't want to scare people off. And we actually want to make it something bigger than just about UK hip-hop as well. And so, you know what I mean? It makes sense for us to try and do something that can, you know what I mean? Get us out there a bit more and make it something that's more palatable for the wider audience. I hope I said that in a way that makes sense to people, that ain't going to make anyone feel a bit degraded by not being into, truth seeking or whatever.
Yeah. No, we like this group of people. You're all our people, but we also realise we're probably in some kind of YouTube ghetto. So not because of you lot, because of what we talk about. So it's sort of, we're trying to work our way around that.
The algorithms.
Yeah, so we're going to put our heads together.
Algorithms.
Yeah, put our heads together and try and.
And you lot got to remember as well, man. I'm still a musician. Do you know what I mean? I still got music on this channel, so I am trying to get
probably
stuff out.
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. We've
It's like when I look,
limited your channel quite.
Yeah, I look on my channel. It's like, it's just been bare streams. Like, there's work to come. There's music to come, but
it would be nice to have your channel back for when you've got your own stuff to happen. So really, we need to get off your channel.
Yeah. Easy, Alan Stephen. Keep doing it till it can't be done. You're not lying. So that's the thing. We want to keep doing it. And the other thing is as well, we want to be able to chat to artists as well. But not all artists are really into the stuff we're talking about, and that's fair enough, man. Like I can't, you know what I mean? What am I supposed to do? Like be upset with you for that? It's like you do what you want to do, what you need to do. We're doing this because we wanted to make sure other people out there that kind of realized, you know what I mean, the falseness of what was going on as well, didn't feel like they were going crazy. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. And with that, we were lucky enough to speak to a lot of different people that, do you know what I mean? Just open our minds up to a lot of different topics that we might not never have known nothing about. And we can't let that stop. I'm telling you, like there's some guests that said they want to come back. So believe that, man. But yeah, we're working on some new ideas. Do you know what I mean? We'll keep you lot posted once everything's happening. But yeah, what will probably happen is we'll get to like where we at? Show 70 something. I think maybe we get to 80 and then we'll shift everything over to the other, the actual something you might not never know nothing about channel on YouTube, as well as over to Odyssey. And then we're more likely going to be doing streams off of Odyssey, and then we'll put clips up on YouTube and whatnot, I guess. But what I wanted to find out is from you lot, man, because obviously, you know what I mean, we value the common senses. Like, you lot understand this game as well. What type of podcast do you think would work for us to go more, mainstream, like more in the field of, hey, these guys,
what Alan Stevens is saying there, you need... Alan Stephen. I knew Alan Stevenson when I was younger.
Yeah, with it.
You need more viewers, is what you're saying. That's sort of what we're saying. I mean, we started this because we thought there was like a space for learning the sort of things we was interested in learning, but unfortunately, YouTube doesn't really like people knowing those sorts of things, so they'll censor the videos in other, they'll sort of shadow ban videos and channels and all this sort of thing. And a lot of the things that we talk about, probably within the first 10 minutes,
scare people.
Scare people off, yeah. But
It's hard. It's a lot to think about. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
it is, yeah,
so
yeah.
It's not,
And
and then
it's-
you're like, who are
if
these
it-
lot?
if it was podcast only, it would probably be a different story. But because we've come at it from a live stream thing,
Point
we've,
of view,
you know,
yeah.
we've sort of like put
That's
ourselves in the face of YouTube. You know,
Mm.
put ourselves in the direct line of fire by doing it.
Yeah, and we've noticed that the algorithm's been messing up with man's algorithms, basically. So, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And we got to clean up the algorithms.
Yeah. Well, we want to just get your channel back. That's
Yeah.
like the main thing is to get your channel back so that you're not, when you put something out, people don't just not see it. Which at the moment you lot see it, but I've got a feeling you lot see our stuff because you're all part of the group of people that are here all the time. So you know,
Yeah. For
but
real.
we do get the same people coming back all the time, which is good because it's like a nice small community. That is good, but it's not in the long term if everyone sees what I mean. You know,
Well, yeah, it's also
you
harder
don't
to
just
get.
want to be in a ghetto.
It's harder to get
6
guests on.
years.
You know, like it's actually harder to get
Yeah.
guests on when they're like, oh yeah, I'd like to, but what's the, you know, boy, there's not. They look at the views and all that, and they're like, do you know what I mean? So there's
Yeah.
things like that. Like obviously we could. Well, the idea is anyway. Like there's more to come with the SYMN. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot more to come with that because we want the idea of presentations and whatnot. But what's the point in doing it if we're gonna get censored? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every damn minute with it. It's like that kind of puts you off a bit. And we've noticed that it's actually happening. It's not like a paranoia. Yo, am I paranoid? Yo, we high in here, man. You know what I mean? We're blazing it. Like all the things. Like, yeah, they're looking out for all these sort of things that we're
Yeah.
talking about as well. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you lot know it already. Joey Badass, yeah, I've got Joey Diaz podcast. Joey Diaz, I thought it was Joey Badass he was talking about. Look how many viewers Joey Diaz podcast gets. Doesn't he get? Joey Diaz is up there, man.
Yeah, but it's a podcast anyway. That's the point. Is that he does a podcast and then they just do best of on YouTube. I think so. I think that's what they do. I don't think they put the whole thing on YouTube.
King Chico said, Blade done the interview with Nova the other week, and the tag on the title was to do Pro Green, so I'm sure that helped get that video out. Obviously, the interview was good too, but that's one thing. Yeah, it's true. Like, getting names on, and like I said, why names going to want to come on here when there ain't enough people for it?
How
You
are
know,
we
the
gonna
people that
get-
have come on, they've seen that, but
Yeah.
they'll be like, yo, it's mice. You know what I mean? Da, da,
Yeah.
da. But I don't even want to mention the people that where it's been like, right. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, oh, damn, okay.
Yeah.
It's like that, you know? Like, I don't even want to go there because, yeah, it's fair enough, man. Mr. Green said it's not enough. Yeah. Chico said we follow but need more sharers too from bigger heads. Yeah, but this is the other thing, man. It's that MC thing, man. Is that UK hip hop rap? You're a rapper, I'm a rapper. You know, that kind of. I'm still trying to, you know, that weird thing as well. It's like I kind of feel like there's a little bit of that with. I ain't gonna, you know, sound like I'm upset with it because I get it in a weird way. But this is me like podcast. This is me interviewing you. It's not me, yo, let's get on the track or let's perform together. You know, like so there shouldn't be that kind of competition. But I get it. So some people might be like, no, man, I ain't gonna support his thing because, you know what I mean? Why would I big up? I'll start my own podcast. Like, yeah, bro, podcast. Yeah. It's like that. You're like, right, boy. You know? Okay. Yeah, so there's a bit of that, man. But, you know, this is the idea is I want to open it up. Like, I know I can speak to, you know, all types of folk in different industries as opposed to, like, have to be about hip-hop. Like, that's the sort of... point of view that I come from. Do you know what I mean? Like when I did the show with Sarah, that was it. We had different topics we talk about, but the point of view was from, and you know, we get hip hop news and all that in there, so you understood what it was about. And you know, I think like that is very cool and it'd be wicked. But there's a lot of other sort of professionals that I'm quite, you know, I follow that I'm into as well, so I'd definitely be up for opening it up to more than just the hip hop thing.
Yeah.
Mr. Green says, Mice, you should do more of a rap thing that will pull people in, and then you can direct them to similar. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know, I should do a bit more of a. I don't know, but when you say a bit more of a rap thing, is that meaning I should be performing? Do you know, like, is it, or what? What, you know, bars? Like maybe I get other MCs up and we spit bars over beats or whatever, ciphers. I don't know. But yeah, I get what you're saying with that. I did think that. Like I remember earlier in it, man was dropping bars here and there. But then, man, you know, sometimes you get too blazed and you ain't trying to spit nothing. You get that cotton mouth, boy. You like, yo, yeah. The what? Ah, man, I remember one of the first few times because I used to like early days. I used to blaze and then, you know, do a gig and that, man. But then there was a point where I got really buzzing. I was buzzing, and I think it was in Bristol. It might have been performing in Bristol. Probably had a drink or two as well, boy. And I just remember, like, performing. My mouth was dry. And I was buzzing, like hardcore buzzing. And there was a point where it was like my mind and my view went out of my body and it was like behind the DJ. Yeah, like that. And then I could see myself, like the back of myself, like that, just performing and the crowd and all that. And it went, you know, for a good like 8 bars or something like that. And then it came back. I was like, yo. And then from then I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna smoke before a gig anymore, like at all. Yeah, like, I was like that hardcore before. You know, I didn't blaze at all because that zoot when you finally done the gig, you really appreciate it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like the whole day I wouldn't blaze, but then, you know, once you can start getting a little comfortable with yourself. Yeah, I'm cool. How many hours you got? Yeah, I'm good, man. I'll sort out my shit before then, you know. But yeah, after that, I was like, nah, man. It's better to have a clear mind, man. When you do, you know, when you got to go to work, it's good to have a clear mind and get it done the way it's supposed to be done. There's no excuses. A lot of times I'd have excuses. I was a bit drunk, man. I was, you know, all that stuff blazed up. Like, nah, you know, go in there clean, do a wicked gig, come out, and then it's a big reward, man.
Yeah, delayed gratification.
Yeah. Delayed gratification. See it there.
Yeah, and I've got to get some more face tattoos and stuff like, you know. I want to be a bit more sort of, you know, rap podcast looking. You know, I've got to get myself the hat on top of my head and the you know, the long beanie hat and the face tattoo. I'm going to get ice cream on my face.
Yeah, I reckon it will suit you, man. Ice cream.
Fab lolly.
If you get like a
just a dairy milk,
rainbow color ice cream,
dairy milk. What's that on your face? Is that a dick on your face?
Dairy milk. Yeah.
No,
it's flake. No, it's flake because I really liked flakes when I was like, you know, people get tattoos. Just like, yeah, no, because it happened because like it'd be some random shit, boy.
Funny
I don't even remember where I got this one.
Blue said funny foot. Get funny foot on you.
Yeah, what?
Funny foot Iceland.
Funny foot Iceland. Like. There's probably people got funny foot Iceland. They don't realize. Like, yeah, it's my baby footprint. You know what I'm saying? I got it tattooed my baby footprint. Word, you know. Nah, bruv. Big up Alan Steven, man. Mama said, I'm here because I saw Mice do a set when I was a teenager. Damn, that hurts, man. That makes me feel like I should be spitting my lungs out on this mic. How dare I get on this mic and not spit some bars, bruv. No, the spit some bars. Yeah, let's get a roll call out there, man. Roll call. Over here, I think we're on, we've been lacing it with some Moroccan pollen, but we're on some biscotti. Yeah, we got some pink runts, you know what I mean? Held that down for a minute. What else? Pink rosé as well. For some reason, I think it might be the month that we just came out of, but everything seems to be pink all of a sudden. Yeah, we're on that as well. You know what I mean? I got the vape. Yeah, jelly donut. You know what I mean? We're good for tonight, bruh. See, it's things like that. We might be getting ourselves in trouble with that. I don't even know. Do you know what I mean? But for some reason, yeah, it's not getting the traction that would be, you know, appreciated. Yeah, it's not even that we want a whole lot. It's just like, right, the thing seems to be like staying at one place, and it's like, oh, they're messing with us, aren't they?
Yeah, and we gave it a bit of time where we thought like, oh, it might just be, you know, that we're not consistent. We tried consistency. You know, we've tried moving it from the channel, uploading it, and we've tried all sorts of different things over the last. It's been 2 years, nearly 2 years, isn't it? Is that right? How long's it actually been?
Has it been nearly 2? I think it's been longer than 2 years, man.
Has it?
I think so.
Yeah, me and Colin was talking the other day about because
'Cause
he's had 2 birthdays, isn't he, Colin?
Yeah, I feel like it was the end of
2021. 2020, you think?
Oh. No, actually, yeah, no, it was summer 2021.
Second lockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, the lockdown. Who remembers the lockdowns, eh?
Oh,
Who
good old
remembers
days.
good old lockdowns, I tell ya. Oh, man, that was crazy, innit? I think they've been trying to do it again slightly, but it ain't work now. People are just like, oh, bro,
Yeah.
get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't having all that, man. I grew up on NWA.
At this point, if I see someone with a mask on, I just feel sorry for him. I'm just like, oh, that poor person. They're still stuck in it all.
Yeah, it's a bit of a worry, but I think a lot of people, people that do that, they feel like they're doing the right thing, and everyone else is going to die, so they're good.
Yeah.
No, I what I've noticed is, because I do look, and I've noticed that it is people that actually, mainly, they you could tell that they say, yeah, but I'm what's the word when they say that they're more susceptible to getting it or whatever. There's a word for it now that they had it from way back, I guess. Forgotten what it is, but they feel they've been told that you're high risk. That's it, high risk.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
And so that's their straight away. Yeah, but I'm high risk, so you're like, all right, cool, man. You know what I mean? Like we could go for a little run. Like you know what I mean? I'm a PT, but cool. Do ciphers get guests? Mr. Green said, "Yep, you're not lying there." I do think that would be a good one. There's cats that I could definitely get on to spit some bars. I'm pretty sure. I don't think that the rivalry is that bad. You lot don't understand, man. You'll be surprised at how many of us we don't follow each other. We don't, you know what I mean? We only chat when we see each other, that type thing. It's like, Ross, UK hip hop at its finest, baby. And Chico said it right. Yeah, man, people can't support when they can't support themselves in other ways. That's right. We don't want them either if it's like that. Mr. Green's like, surely everyone should be supporting each other. You think so, man? Yeah. They do I guess in the way that they feel is how they should. I guess. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, it's a shame, man. So who is that? You're on about Joey Diaz. He smokes weed, has a rant, and gets guests on. Yeah, but Joey Diaz is entertaining, man. He's fun, man. You like that? Damn, I'll go out there. And, there's fucking bitches out there sniffing coke. I'm like, what the fuck? He's just he's one of them dudes where just looking at him, once he goes in, you'll just be cracking up anyway. He's naturally funny. You know what I mean? So I think that's why comedians do pretty well with podcasts as well, is because that's their thing, and it is about talking about funny stuff, and then they can come up with ideas and bits and whatnot. I mean, I've definitely come up with ideas for tunes on here, but I'm not a freestyle MC like that where what's the guy, is it Harry Mack or something like that, and Blind Fury and them, where they'll just be every day coming up with some freestyling whatever, some kind of tune and all that, but I think definitely I can hold down whether it be a radio show, podcast, chatting with various different minds about things, I think are interesting as well. I think that people, let us know if you've learned anything from some of the guests we've had on the show, since you've been locking in. Because that would be interesting to know as well. Is there anything that you might not never have known nothing about unless you came on here and clicked and saw my shiny forehead doing this?
Joey Diaz, yeah, I think it's podcast as well. So it's different with podcasts because you're not being managed by YouTube. YouTube is if someone's offering you something for free, they're getting something out of it. And if they're not getting something they want out of it, they're not going to be that into it, really, are they? You know? So something like the Be Real podcast, it's Be Real from Cypress Hill. You know,
Yeah. True.
pretty big deal.
Yeah.
But looking at his numbers, they're not even, you know,
They're not what you'd expect,
No.
or.
not really. 2,500 views.
But I have a feeling he's probably similar to us, where he's not really trying to like promote it and for it. I guess
No.
some of them do have crazy views.
Yeah, that's
but-
got 217,000, but some of them are just 2,000. So, you know, for someone as big as that is still, they're still wild different numbers. You know, the one there 230,000, then another one the week after 1,800 views. You know, so it's like wildly different each show.
Bruce Willis says he watches a lot of DJs on Twitch. Big up to DJ Bluefoot in the building. And he said this is the only podcast he's ever watched. Oh man, love, bro. That's hilarious, man. Yeah. Well, you know, that's I mean, that means a lot, to be honest, man, because, you know, like that was the idea. And the thing is as well, is people like Blue that I'm talking about. I'm like, yo, there's people out there I know that are thinking the same thing. They might be like, but am I just thinking, nah, no, I know he ain't like that. He knew already. You know what I mean? But then, like I was saying, there's even more information, especially when we linked up. It was like, yo, you heard about it as well. All right. What do you think then? Yeah, but then, you know, communicate and find out whether this new idea of, do you know what I mean? This new paradigm actually does make sense. And when it started to make sense, it's like, yo, a lot of people need to know this, man.
So
lot of
Alan
people
Stephen,
need to know.
I think you've got to get a few big guests. That's our point. It's hard to get big guests if they look at your numbers of your previous shows and then they're like, oh, it's a bit too small for me.
Yeah.
We have had offers of big guests, but when they've checked out the actual numbers, they didn't do it.
Big up to Diggs pt.79.1. Jeez. He says, hey, what's up, G? Yes, love, G. Love. Shout out to Regantology in the building. Right now we're discussing the podcast we're on right about now. Something you might not never know nothing about. Do you know what I mean? We've been going in for 2 years and a bit now. I'm trying to spread some knowledge, you know what I mean, that has obviously been occulted, been hidden, and hopefully we've done a good job of that. And we're talking about, you know, starting a new type of podcast, trying to get ideas from the common senses, aka the comment section. And yeah, it's been very interesting so far. I think the bars thing for sure, like we definitely got to incorporate that in some way, because I think people probably do click on and they're like, right, Mice, yeah, and then it's like, oh, right, he's just chatting. It's like, and who's that other guy? You know, like, yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Who's that guy's dad with him?
Pink Rose's banging. Alan Stephen, yeah, Pink Rose's banging. It's a heavy indica. Definitely hits you right where it's supposed to. You know what I mean?
In Pride Month.
Yo, that is hilarious. There was another one as well. Pink, there was Pink Runts, Pink Rose,
That's hilarious.
and then
They do
Pink.
that.
I've forgotten what it was now.
Oh
Pink
my
something
god.
else, man. But yeah, it's all that. I was like, right, what's up with this pink stuff? And it's like,
That is hilarious.
oh.
So in August it'll be like summer something, or summer fruits, or summer punch, or summer dog, or something. There'll be like summer ones. Holiday, going on holiday punch, or going on holiday biscotti, or just been to the Amalfi Coast biscotti. Smuggle me on an aeroplane.
No, they ain't got time to say all that.
Smuggle me on an aeroplane,
Plane.
biscotti, or take a tiny bit of me on holiday with you,
Yeah.
just to get by, biscotti.
Well, man said, what about Matt Hancock? He's UK based. You're taking the piss, man. Do you remember the sniffer dogs?
Yeah.
They sniff out the road, boy.
Yeah. What happened to them? We couldn't train them quick enough.
Man said the
They're
dogs
probably
are
all
going to
dead
sniff
now.
out the road up. It's like, right, boy, you'll be like all types of shit. Like, yeah, but I don't even know if I I got this shit or not. Dog might sniff me out. I'm on my way to Marbella. Oh, fucking have it. Yeah. Next minute, I'm in jail with a whole bunch of other people who are not ill. But
Rover, you sure you was right about all them
yeah. No, just having my biscuits, man. Like, stroke me here as well, please, just quickly. You know when the dog goes on his back, you're like, right, little kinky. It's like, yo, what the hell? What are you trying to offer me into it? Like, I'm smiling. You're like, yeah. You're right, bruv. I was just stroking you. That was it. Yeah, man. Yeah, Matt Hancock. That would be hilarious. If we got to speak to politicians, bruv. And I could blaze as well. I was like, right, what are you blazing like? That would be funny.
Daniel Corey, much respect, Mice and Dan, YouTube shadow ban channels that talk about occult topics. Reach out to Days of Noah, perhaps. Days of Noah.
Yeah, I've checked out Days of Noah.
Daniel Corey.
He's pretty... the thing is I think he's pretty on point with it, I guess, because he seems to be... His channel's definitely grown a lot. I remember he weren't really showing his face or nothing, but now he is. And so I guess like what he's saying is the way you communicate it is probably key as well. And yeah, we definitely, you know what I mean, overstepped the mark. We've overstepped the mark Zuckerberg, so to speak.
Yeah, and the thing is, we don't overstep it in the way that other people overstep it either. It's always. I mean, how do I say it? It's sort of like if someone would actually listen to it, they probably would think, oh, okay, they're not really, spreading dangerous disinformation or something like that. They're talking about drinking piss, or they're talking about laughing about people wearing masks, or something like that. It's not like we're sort of doing an occult channel. We have people on who talk about that, and then we sort of sit here and try and use our little brain to like try and work out what's going on. And, most of it is like small-brained conversation where it's saying something stupid at the end of it. So it's not even really like a lot of these other people's channels. I get what Daniel Corey's saying, about they do ban channels, but then you do get picked up in they do sweeps of just whole words you're not allowed to use, or the first 10 minutes that you're not allowed to say certain things in the first 10 minutes or the first 30 minutes or whatever it is.
Yeah, I reckon. So Mr. Green's saying like the day you start live streaming spitting, that's when you see we're not shadow banned. I think he's right in that sense, because obviously, it's something that will probably keep the people who do click on thinking that that's what they're going to see staying on, as well as the fact that it's not about all the, rare. But that's the thing is the idea is to create a sort of podcast as opposed to like it being, and something that's opposed to being about me rapping, because it's like, don't get me wrong, I think there's that the idea is definitely there. Like even if I be like, oh, I'm going to perform a tune every week or something, just something where it's like people get to engage with me performing as well as hearing music, you know what I mean? That's from me. But then it was like, the idea was to just, I think at the beginning was just to do it anyway. It was just like, oh, see how it goes and see what happens. And then when we started saying, oh, okay, right, we can do this type thing, we've got to this stage where we're like, oh, okay, so let's turn what we can do into a product that is viable, as well as keep doing all of this. But I think on the other side of that is once we could clean up the channel, things like what Mr. Green is saying, I can do more of and not feel a bit like, oh, they might click that and then see that and then be like, oh, because I've definitely lost work off of this stuff as well, like for sure.
Yeah,
I've lost work off of kind of staying to my truth, keeping to my truth and speaking out about it. But
Sainsbury's never text you back, did they?
Nah, my reward card as well is like my Nectar card declines, man. I had a couple bags on there. A couple bags.
You sound like they used to give you like 7% discount on that Nectar card. Every time you used it, you went and used it. No more discount.
Think about it. Like, I think they might have seen the time I was sneaked into Tesco's right next door as well. So yeah, I kind of messed up there, but we ain't gonna get into that. I mean, it's a new era. New stream, new me. That's how I'm going to start the new
2024.
Yeah, 2024. My year. How many of you like have ever said that to yourself? This is my year, bruv. This is my year. It's like, bruv, that's it. That's all you want is that 1 year. And then you're like, come on, man. Every year is your year, yeah? Every day is your day. But yeah, I think Mr. Green ain't lying. The day we do some spitting, you know what I mean? Some spitting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, people will definitely tune in a bit more. So I'll get on that. Maybe like, but this is the thing, you know, I could do my stuff, but then there's like, you know, we can't really, the DJ thing, I'm not sure you can really get away with playing other people's joints either. Do you know what I mean? So it is tricky in the sense of what they do on Twitch. Like, you have a lot of, they've got some kind of, there's something that goes on. I think you can stream it and then it goes down the next day unless you pay a certain amount or you're some type of, you know, you're verified in some kind of way or whatever. I think there's that. Yeah, so see, Alan Stevens on it now. What about broadening the perspective beyond hip-hop? That's exactly what I'm talking about. Because think about what hip-hop is, the music that we love. As you grow older, it's all about hip hop, yeah. In the beginning, it's nah, man, hip hop. You ain't listening to nothing else, and then bam, then you hear that the original, you know what I mean, tune of that sample of one of your favorite hip hop joints. You're like, oh.
Yeah,
and it's some like rare Brazilian thing or some,
yeah.
you know what I mean, some other type of music, and you're like, oh, and then bam, now you're into breaks, and you know what I mean, you're playing, some kind of 70s.
Next thing you're listening, just Capital Gold, and they're playing all the songs you like, all the songs that were sampled on all the songs you like.
Capital Gold, boy. Yeah, man. So in that aspect, you can see hip hop already has a wide, do you know what I mean, perspective on things, and so then think about topics, man. Like you don't know, I love to switch the topic, man. I don't like to rap about the same thing all the time, unless it's how good I am. But yeah, you know, like in terms of giving people that side of things, I think it makes sense, man, that we should broaden our outlook on things. Like, don't just be stuck on the one sort of subject. There's a lot of things you can learn. And so we were bringing that as well with this podcast.
Yeah.
Man said ayahuasca podcast. Jesus! You don't want that. Maybe shrooms or something. Would you do shrooms?
No,
You
I don't
drink,
do drugs.
You drink your own piss, but you wouldn't do shrooms.
Yeah, I don't do drugs.
Shrooms are not a drug, man.
Yeah, it's all drugs.
It's a plant.
But it's not really, it's a fungus.
Well, yeah, but it grows, doesn't it?
I don't know, it might be alive, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's true. It probably is alive, to be fair. You know what I mean? Apparently a lot of communication goes on. So you eat normal mushrooms, but not magic mushrooms?
No.
Oh, you don't eat normal mushrooms? Oh, you don't eat veg, innit?
Yeah, I don't eat.
yeah,
I don't eat mushrooms either. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I have any type of fungus? No, I don't
Not even
think so. No.
Nah, because the fermented stuff isn't.
Yeah, no. I don't know.
You don't have cheese.
I have cheese. Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
I suppose it is made with a fungus, isn't it? Yeah. It's fermented, I suppose, with a fungus.
Yeah, I think you'd.
Yeah.
You'd be all right with a shroom or two.
Nah, yeah. I don't think so. I don't need them.
So you don't do the. Yeah. It's true. You don't need them. Nah, no. You know. Like I think.
I'm all right.
That thing of if you want to do it, you do it. If you don't, it's like
I've done them.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You've been there. Remember we
I've
did
been.
the truffles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, I've been there a few
truffles,
times.
Man, truffles, they're a lot lighter, but they're very giggly, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good fun.
Mm.
But yeah, I think I've got to the point where actually I don't feel that I'm not drawn towards doing it, sort of thing. If you know what I mean. Not really sort of like, oh yeah, that would be really interesting, because I have quite interesting things happen all the time, and it would sort of get in the way of the interesting things I have happening. I don't drink either. You know, I don't do anything that sort of like. To me, I consider them all stimulants, and I don't need any extra stimulants in my life. My life is, I feel like it's stimulated enough. You know, I feel like I already when I go to bed, I'm like, I don't want to go to bed. I've got loads of things to do. I've got loads of things that I find stimulating. I've got to stop trying to do them, like making music or films or anything like that. I find all that stuff stimulating. All of it does a similar thing to me that stimulants do.
Yeah.
It all creates like a space in my head where I'm like, floating around and thinking about things and just sort of, in a different space. Which I found that's all I used to really get out of any type of stimulants, is that you put into a different space where you're like, things are alternative. But so much that I do now, I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I'm at this point in the last couple of years where it's just been like, everything I do sort of stimulates me in that similar way.
Yeah. And I think that's like that. They say it's like when you alkalize, like you're
maybe it's that
recharging the battery, and now it's almost like you're starting fresh, and so you're able to like cut off all your little vices that you might have had a lot easier.
Maybe it is that, maybe it is from alkalizing years, 4 or 5 years back, and then doing the lemon magnesium. I've had that going for years. I've been doing the lemon and magnesium every day. Maybe it is that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, and then from then, you've been, that's true, because you haven't been blazing like
no,
and it hasn't even. The thing is as well, you're around it as well, but not like with people. Oh, you know what?
And I didn't find it hard. Whereas I did before, when I gave up in probably 2006 or something. It was one of them things where I was like, when do you reckon it's right to start smoking again? I gave up, where I was like, I'm definitely giving up smoking weed. And I was like saying to people, I'm going to give up. I've given up now, but I'll probably start again at some point. It's like, well, you haven't really given up then, 'cause you're still looking forward to doing it. But this time round, it just sort of fell off. It just dropped away. And then I thought I was going to really struggle with it, but it just stopped one weekend. And then from then on, I was never really into it again. And like you say, I'm all right sitting with people who smoke. I don't really, nothing against smoking. It's, And
I remember you were on the vape thing early as well, innit? When it was like you had your own mods and all that. Yeah. It's funny, man, what that's turned into. There are people like proper hardcore against it, like vaping. You sucking on a battery, bro? You sucking on a battery, yeah? Like Ross. Some interesting comments, man. Big up to the crew, man. You lot are really giving us some things to think about as well. What was it? I saw something earlier. Oh, there is somewhere out there that will support you and do the show. Yeah, no, for sure. You're not lying about that. Alan said that. Big sponsor would be cool if there was a budget for guests and be able to pay yourselves. Easier said than done, of course. But why not? Don't ask a few Masons. That's for King Chico, boy. Nah, Blue, it's not Purple Bell. It will come to me, man. Purple, I can't remember what it is right now. Not Purple Punch. No, man. I think I'm not even talking about the same thing as what you're talking about when you say Purple Bell. I was trying to think of that other pink strain. Yo, Daniel Corey.
Pink Bell.
He mentioned something as well earlier about reaching out to Shattered Paradise and Dave Murphy. He's saying that Dave Murphy, man, he's a good guy. He's really about that talk as well, man. Definitely about the law stuff and speaking up against mortgages and so many different things that if it's a lot of work, I think, with all that stuff. It's very much not everyone's cup of tea, but I think that's part of like our the schooling that we've gone through, the sort of system that's made us feel like paperwork is boring. Like, you get what I mean? It's going, you're going through. It's like, but it's a very interesting subject, man. A very interesting topic, and it's quite liberating as well once it's understood. But it does take time. I think that the side of that as well with all that legal, lawful stuff is that it's better to do it with sort of groups as well. Well, it's easier to do it with groups. I wouldn't say it's better. I think it's down to the individual, but I think it's easier with groups because you can both study, double the amount and then come together and say, yeah, this is because there's a lot to do with language and
sign each other's
oh yeah
forms.
yeah.
Witness each
Notices,
other's notices.
yeah,
which
not
you
forms. No,
Can't
not
do on your
forms.
own.
The notices. Yeah, you need a witness and
Need
so,
3
and then
people.
Obviously,
So-
building that community as well. A community of people that think the same, that want to be more liberated and not owned by some fake matrix. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm definitely going to get into that, man. I bought a bunch of books to get myself up to par with it all, but it seems quite a lot. I think the interesting side of it is the private, is doing stuff in the private and whatnot, and sort of being out of the system in a way that, you know, it's like, how do you move around then? How can, you know, but it seems to work. Some people do it quite often.
And some people don't.
Yeah, some people don't. I think there's a lot
Some
to
people
understand.
try.
Yeah, that's why I say some, because not everyone who
It's
does
not.
it.
It's not tried, and it's not a like universal thing for some reason.
Nah, because there was things that are written in different ways. Do you know what I mean? And for you to understand what they mean now, you've got to sort of understand the land that you're on. Like what terms, you know, what kind of law are we working with here and this and then and then. So it is a lot. It is a lot. But yeah, I've seen there are people that do pretty well. But even someone like Dave Murphy, there's a video of him losing his car to the police and whatnot because it wasn't registered. And then, so what happens from there, you know? I don't know.
He probably doesn't care because he's making his money now about people reading stuff about what he's saying.
Yeah, well,
Doesn't matter if it works or not.
He says he doesn't do anything for money. He just helps people.
He does tours though, doesn't he?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's like
So he must
donation.
get paid for that.
Yeah, it's not like he's
Yeah.
saying, you know,
Once
like
you get that legalese money, whew,
the
that's the
legalese
real
money.
money. Don't matter what side of the coin you're on,
Yeah.
even if you're just helping people out, you know.
Yeah, I
still
mean, he
making
seems
money out of
honest,
it.
but I've seen there's people talking about him a certain way. I don't know what's true and what's not, but he seems pretty like, you know, it's like I've seen him being scrutinized for that, for saying like, oh yeah, I don't work for money, like I help people. And you're like, But then obviously he must have books out there or something. He's got, you know, it's like, how are you getting your food and all that? And but what I saw something where he's saying about donation, people might bring food to him, and you know, that's not having it for. You don't trust none of these common law.
The more I've seen about it and seen people go into it all, it's sort of, some of it seems like rabbit holes to me.
Yeah.
And sort of, they're like, oh no, you got one word wrong, go back to the beginning. You know, it's sort of like, it can't really be like that. You know, because some people do exactly the same procedures as other people, you just don't get the result that the other person got. I think some of it is you're dealing with people at the other end, and some of them just can't be bothered to deal with you, so they just like write things off. They're like, oh, fucking, you know, whatever. This person's annoying the hell out of me. They keep contacting me every 3 days. They're writing me letters constantly. I'll just write their loan off. You know, and it's like you are dealing with sometimes with people. You're not just dealing with a corporation with nobody at the other end. That sometimes the people at the other end are just low paid people that are like, I don't know what this is about. I've seen some of the court stuff where they write to some of the court people, and the court people are like, I don't know anything about this stuff.
They don't. Yeah, and that's how
it's like, this is all new to me.
Yeah, that's
I'm
how
just a clerk of the court. I don't really understand this, or like, I'm just a judge. You know, the people you expect to know what they're doing are the ones that know least about it, because like all the magistrates' courts, they're all voluntary. They're not actually getting paid to be the judge in a magistrate's court. So a lot of them people are just like, yeah, fuck this. They just walk out, or you know, they're not. The videos I've seen where people they go, oh look, the judges all walked out. It's like, I know, they're not getting paid. So for them, they're just like, it's a waste of my time.
Yeah.
There's people standing on tables. There's people shouting, you know, lawful rebellion. They're just like, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
And some people do get results. I just don't know how there's such wild difference in all of it. I just, you know.
I think it goes back to what you're saying. It's because you're dealing with people.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and some of those people might be like, you know, and some of the
be
people
caught
are
out.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then.
And there are blatant loopholes they've closed. When
Well,
since these people have started doing
exactly.
this, there are
This is the
loopholes
thing,
that they've
because
gone,
when they
we
learn-
can't allow that to be out there.
Yeah, so when they
Yeah.
learn that people are learning in the system in a certain way,
Yeah.
then they start switching up. So that's the thing, is like,
Yeah.
I do think that there's definitely something there, because, you know, the certain questions aren't answered properly regarding, you know, whether it be the birth certificate, the
Yeah.
license, whatever. So I think there is something there, but I think going to what you're saying is like, has it been worked out yet? And I don't think it has.
No.
I think what's been worked out are remedies, like certain ways you can navigate out of the system or using the system or whatever, and whether they've been perfected or not is another question.
Yeah.
But I think like the only way we'd really know is if a bunch of people try it, you know what I mean? If it's
Yeah.
not just like, oh, this one video of this, or, you know, that Paul Unslaved. I don't know if anyone's seen the Paul Unslaved video, a guy in America, young, you could tell he's like a hip hop cat. And he gets away with driving through, I think it's Colorado State or something, and he hasn't got license, registration, nothing, you know. And then it's like a half-an-hour video of him dealing with police, and then they call the supervisor, and then the supervisor seems to be understanding about like the whole common law sort of thing, and then going, oh, you know, in the end being like, oh, can I like give you my email and you give me more information about this type of thing? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So there's obviously something there, because how do you get away with that? He's got quite a following off of the back of that as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, but yeah, I mean, people, big up to Dave Murphy, man. I think it'll be good to get him on to chat, but at the same time, I think he'd be like, you ain't got, do you know what I mean? Yeah, he'd be like, you ain't got enough views on there. But big up to JB7, love, man. He said they ain't ready. You ain't lying, bruv. You ain't lying. They ain't ready, man. Hey. Oh, yeah. A little bit of a music at the beginning. Well, yeah, I do think we should incorporate the music in some way. But it is like, it's the whole setup of it. And it's like, what do you do? Okay, maybe it'd be like, oh, perform 3 tracks this week. You don't know what 3 tracks they are. Maybe it's something like that. I don't know. You know what I mean? But, nah, I'm not selling ganja vapes online yet. I like how the yet was put in there, Alan. You know what I mean? Like, that's something rappers do.
Yeah, maybe start on like lighters instead, or...
JB7 said, what's going on with the Stop Oil? What's Stop Oil?
The people where they go and sit in the middle of the road in city and stop cars.
So they're like the, what was it called before? Was it not
Stinky Rebellion. Extinction Rebellion.
Stinky. Trustafarian Rebellion, boy. Yo, these lot fooled us though, man. I was like, yeah, no, man, it's good that they do it for the environment. Like, and you know what's funny? This is the thing about the lockdown is like, remember, because they had like Trafalgar Square, no, not Trafalgar Square. What's it called? Not Hyde Park, Marble Arch. They had it locked down. Remember?
Yeah,
it's locked down. Like you couldn't drive through, you couldn't drive here and there, nowhere. Yeah, you're like, right, these are on it, boy. Yeah, man, for the environment. Da, da, da. You're not even realizing that most of these people, they look clean, they look rich, like, they sound rich. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's not like, yeah, man, lawful, yeah, for real, rebel against the Extinction Rebellion. I ain't trying to die. They got youths out there. You know what I mean? And bam, lockdown come, vroom, there, yeah, I'm off, mate. Like they were off. Everyone was like, huh? How did that? Like what? Yeah, and that's when you're like, of course.
yeah.
No fucking wonder, mate. Just Stop Oil. So this is a new batch of
Yeah, Stop Oil, new one. They wear orange.
They wear orange.
Another what do they call them? AstroTurfed movement.
Is that what they call them?
Yeah, it's like fake grassroots. You know, they're like, it's meant to be, oh, this is a grassroots group, but it's made up by corporations. So they call them AstroTurfed.
Just Stop Oil's demonstrations across the UK in recent months have made the group a household name. The environmental activism group has blocked major roads, scaled bridges, thrown soup over a Vincent van Gogh artwork. and spray painted luxury London shop fronts, including Harrods, Aston Martin, and Rolex. My heroes. In an effort to force the government into accepting its demands, the group staged 32 days of disruption from the end of September and throughout October, with the Metropolitan Police, which the Metropolitan Police said resulted in 677 arrests, with 111 people charged. If we had the gematria calculator, boy, jeez, those numbers look dodgy as hell. 32, 677, and 111s. Come on, bruv. But what exactly is Just Stop Oil, and what is it campaigning for?
Formed on the 14th of February, 2022. 14th of February.
Wow.
Valentine's Day.
Interesting. On Valentine's Day. And Valentine, he's meant to be like some Jesuit puppet as well. God.
I'm just trying to look at the who's behind it. Funding. They report that all their funding is through donations, with the group accepting traditional currency and cryptocurrencies, so anyone could be funding them. In April 2022, it is reported Just Stop Oil's primary source of funding was donations from the US-based Climate Emergency Fund. Through that fund, a notable donor to the group has been Eileen Getty.
Getty Images?
Descendant of the Getty... Yeah, where's that? Descendant of the... Sorry, my phone just fell off the countertop. Descendant of the Getty family, which founded the Getty Oil Company.
Wow. AKA the Gotties.
Yeah.
The Gotties of oil, boy.
Yeah, the Gettys. Where are they from? Scots-Irish.
The Gettys.
That was that film, Fox. What was that one called? Fox?
What, Foxcatcher?
It was, Foxcatcher. Yeah, that's one of them, isn't it? Getty.
Oh, right. Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Foxcatcher, what's his name? The wrestler, Mark. Forgotten his name now. But yeah, Mark Schultz, I believe it is, that fought in UFC or is...
Oh, is that who that's the
I
character?
think. Yeah. He got shot by that guy, by the Getty descendant.
Yeah.
So what is the group campaigning for? Just Stop Oil has demanded that the UK government halt all new licenses and consents for the exploration, development and production of fossil fuels in the UK. It says it is applying pressure to Downing Street because of what it calls the climate crisis. Yeah, you lot better get ready for that, bruv. We're on the countdown now. Should pull up the video of the countdown, bruv. We can't get strikes for that. Do you know what I mean? We're letting the world know it's about to go down. You better be shitting your pants right now, because if you ain't, yeah, there's more to come. Believe that, yeah.
Climate Emergency Fund. I found out who the executive director of the Climate Emergency Fund is.
Bum, bum, bum.
Margaret Klein Salomon.
Woo! Them names there, bruv. That's a powerful name. Salomon.
Salomon.
That is Solomon, isn't it? Sol.
I think so, yeah.
Soul of man, as some will say.
Man.
Or sun and moon. You know what I mean? Big up to DVG, man. You know what I mean? That guy comes and breaks down these things like crazy, boy.
All just... Alan Stephen, you read A Brave New World, Mice and Dan. Aldous Huxley would be a great guest. You have got some good guests. Alan Stephen, definitely.
Yeah, bro.
Matt Hancock, Aldous Huxley.
Yeah, the Matt Hancock one, boy. We grill him. I'll blow the smoke in his face. Well. So what's up with them dogs, bruv? They really smell like the Rona, yeah? Prove it.
Make him cry.
Yeah. I say prove it. Prove that it's smelling like the Rona, bruv. Rolling way there.
prove that they retrained Honey, the drug sniffing dog, to be able to smell
He's
Corona
out there
somehow.
trying to sniff cocaine, boy. We think she's coming out here sniffing those.
What's she going to get out of sniffing Rona when she weren't getting out of sniffing cocaine?
Yeah. Yeah.
We know how you train them
If
dogs.
she'd enjoy it more. Fucking hell, boy. Yeah, them dogs. I wonder what do they think they were doing? You know, it's like, yeah, so go on, tell us who's got it. Like, and they even did a video where they had people walking. It's like, bruv, might they not contract it from each other? Like, how does that work? You know what I mean? Like Snowy's there. I was wondering, bruv, what's Snowy doing? Like, what is?
He sits down.
Yeah.
He's like, this is impossible. It's everywhere. I don't know what's up with him. He won't move.
Like, yo, he's just looking around like, you know what I mean? Baffled. Yeah, that's hilarious, man. What you know? Sample from the Locks. We gon' make it. Yeah, see it there? That's what I'm talking about. You hear this original tune, you're like, oh, what? That's what hip-hop does, man, for sure. Like, especially with the traveling, I had a lot of time to listen to different music. And so it was like, man, I remember I'd be out in some market in Brisbane or something. And then it's like someone's just selling all these CDs. Some might be, you know, Peruvian or folk music, or it would be like there's some Brazilian stuff. I would be, oh, can I hear this? Like, hear it? I go, yeah. Let me get this one and this one. And then he's just hearing something. You're like, oh, my days, that's what so-and-so sampled on track 10 or something. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's crazy, man. But you're also hearing music that you're getting into, you know, that you appreciate more as well, that you wouldn't have heard before. I'm
pretty sure there was a channel when I went to America in 2007 or something. I'm pretty sure there was a channel on their, what's it called? Sirius or whatever it is, XM, Sirius
XM.
Yeah, Sirius XM. That was like old... It was like Golden Oldies channel, but everything they played was like a break from a famous hip hop tune.
Yeah, all right.
And they'd sort of made this whole channel that was just that. Every single thing you heard, you'd go, oh, that's that. Yeah, that's that. So, yeah, probably in America, yeah. It's good. It's a good channel. It was a good channel, though. I did have it on because it's sort of just... you know, music you know, but you're getting a bit of a deeper understanding of it.
Yeah, that's a really good idea, man.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mr. Green said, yeah, stop bagging on about the Rona. Yeah, it's true, man. It's done, innit? It's like, not everybody wants to hear about that, man. And I get it. Alan Stephen listens to mainly psytrance now. Psytrance, what does that mean? Like psychotic trance? Psychedelic trance. It's like
yeah.
Yeah, how do you come down from all of that, man?
Under a parachute, you come down to it to music that's the same but without drums, and then they wave a parachute over your head really slowly from half one till 2.
Jesus, boy. Give you a hot chocolate, man. Calm your ass
down.
Down.
And someone comes and gives you a Vicks Vapor Rub massage.
Remember that,
a girl
man.
with dreadlocks.
Vapor Rub,
a girl with dreadlocks and a strappy vest on comes and gives you a Vicks Vapor Rub massage.
And they used to wear them like high up, them platforms like that, boy.
Yeah.
Like their boots, innit? Big black boots. But you're just like, yo. And this just looks awkward. Like, you can't walk in them shits. Like, you just look like you're on stilts for real.
And some of them used to wear hammer pants. Still, they were still, you know, them sort of psytrance people still wearing the hammer pants.
Most of them, like for
Glow
both
sticks.
of them people, the hammer pants people and the platforms people, most of the motion of them walking was them trying not to fall down. So they'd be later, man. Iboga, I ain't done that in a minute, man. I had some Iboga for a while. Yeah, I never went too hard on it though. You know what I mean? Because I was a bit worried about that. I didn't know where I'd end up. Like, the effects of it, interesting.
Yeah, where was that from again? Is that a South American thing?
I think it's also South American, yeah,
Right.
but you can get it in places like, is it Cameroon? Places like that, yeah. But yeah, it's in Africa as well.
So
Wouldn't be
it's some
surprised
sort
if
of
it's in India.
equatorial thing or something.
Yeah, quite
it must
possibly,
grow
yeah, yeah.
equator.
But yeah, that's natural. What about that? Try that?
Yeah, go on in.
Yeah?
No.
Yeah. Shrooms are better for the carbon footprint. That's not a lie there. It's very true. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. For them what?
Maybe than oil.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What did I hear about? There was...
They also eat oil, mushrooms, and everything. There's like all
Yeah.
different ones that clear up oil spills and
Yeah,
rubber
clear up oil
tires and
spills.
nuclear explosions and everything.
I wonder what happens then to the oil. Like what the mushrooms eat the oil, and then what happens of the mushrooms? Do they just like synthesize the oil and then it disappears, or do they then? Do you know what I mean? Like what happens after that?
Yeah.
Because it you know,
Do they turn
shit
it
it
into
back
like,
out?
Yeah. Do they turn
They're
into
like,
like
oh, shit,
oily
this is
mushroom?
oil. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, it's probably an oily mushroom.
Where they break it down into like 3 or 4 parts, and then you get like some sort of waste product, and then something else that the mushroom grows on, or something. I don't know. I don't even know whether. Well, I think we probably talked about it before. I don't even know whether oil is actually just continuous or not. You know, do you know what I mean? Whether it's actually, I don't
the
even
oil
think
thing.
it is dinosaurs. I don't. Part of me just thinks, no, it's not dinosaurs. It's just forms under the ground, and
there's
it's just convenient to say that it's dinosaurs.
There's the theory of what do they call it? Primary oil.
Yeah, that's it.
So you got
abiotic
primary water,
oil. Yeah,
and you got primary oil. So apparently none of it runs out.
yeah.
And so what we're told is that it came from dead plants and dinosaurs and whatnot.
Yeah.
And but actually it's almost like it's the blood of the earth, you know, and so it just runs. Who knows, man? There is like, because you can get, have you had shilajit before? Any of you like had shilajit? Shilajit, it's they
a
call
mushroom.
it mountain blood.
Is it? It's a mushroom though, is it?
No, it's like it's more of like an oil, like a thick.
Oh right,
really
no. Yeah, no,
thick,
I'm thinking of something else.
Oil, and it's it has a lot of like phytonutrients, a lot of like what do you call them, essential minerals, and it's good for like libido, you know, it's good for like Kate Magic, I think we mentioned it on the show we had with her. It's good for quite a few things because of the sort of its nutritional content and that's said to be made from crushed plants and old, you know, like vegetation and whatnot as well. But it's a lot thicker. It's a lot like, you know, more kind of like a tar type thing as opposed to what oil seems to be, you know. And yeah, we've seen there's videos out there of oil just spilling out from nowhere type thing, and
Yeah.
so who knows, man. I did have like, I was obviously blazed, but I had this thing hit me when I was like, right, you know, they say this about the oil thing about it running out, but look how many petrol stations there are everywhere, like how big they are. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like
Yeah.
something.
Either there's a lot of oil that's there's either a lot of oil that's just about to run out, or it's just
like,
continuing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there are these different like ways to look at things where you're like, it is kind of sus. And then the fact that there are dinosaurs everywhere. Dinosaurs are everywhere, bro. Like everywhere. You open a paper, there might be fucking Barney or someone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Something to remind you, like, yeah, these things, look how big they are, how scary they are. Yeah, they're like, they're gone. They're gone.
Yeah, and why is there not one dinosaur left? Oh no, wait, there is. The shark.
The shark. Yeah, the shark. Do. How are the Archons doing? IBMC's asked. The Archons are fine. They're up where they should be. Do you know what I mean? Controlling the realm that we're in within the the dome.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we're still on this flat. No, I'm joking. Man. I don't know. I don't know what we're on, man. But yeah, man said the Just Stop Oil holding banners are made from oil. That's hilarious. Yeah, it is. Man, it's nuts. But like someone said, they're probably just going to start 3D printing everything anyway. But wouldn't that be using oil? Plastic,
Yeah, plastic.
Right? Jeez.
Yeah.
So what are you lot going to be 3D printing with then? What are we going to end up using? How's that without messing up with your carbon footprint and all that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my girlfriend's been looking at these methane where you can put household waste into like some sort of tank in your garden, and then it produces methane, and then you basically store all the methane in like inner tubes, like a big tire inner tube, and then you can run your cooker off of the methane, because all that gas is methane, the gas that gets delivered to your house. So you can make methane from all your household waste. You just put like cow's dung in there with it, and the bacteria in the cow's dung starts generating it starts eating all the food, and then the off gas that they breathe out is methane. So you create methane inside this chamber, and then
is that just with organic, like just
use
food?
any food, meat, vegetables, whatever, grass. You can put. It's a bit slower with grass, but you have to sort of chop it all up quite well as well. You know, you need like a sort of musher upper that you mush everything up with.
But how much of that would you need to?
You can get.
You know what I mean? If you're trying to
you can get quite a lot. Yeah, it's quite good what you get out of it.
Is it?
Yeah, for like how much. You can even use human waste to make methane.
Yeah, but you ain't want that wafting in the yard, bruv.
No, because what happens is the bacteria separates out into, you get the stuff that comes out, the water that comes out is fertilizer. So so it basically like the bacteria does its stuff, and then after about 10 to 15 days, you get like a water coming out that's fertilizer for the garden, and then the gas itself, and then once a year or something you have to clear out the bottom bit. That's just going to be all just it's not shit or anything. It's just, you know, the byproduct of all this bacteria eating all your stuff. So it's basically a way of making your life 100% carbon neutral, but they won't do it because it means that all these companies lose, you know, all the gas companies and all that lose all their revenue, you know, and they won't be able to provide you with gas anymore. You could just get yourself cut off from the mains, and you could just use your household waste to provide gas for your house. And it's quite, the amount that you get out of it's quite good as well. It's sort of, you know, like per sort of kilo of waste that you put in there, you get quite a good amount of gas out of it. Probably more than you can manage. So you have to store it up. You know, you have a big, like, massive tractor tire inner tube, or so people use like dinghies, all sorts of things. People use anything that's rubber and can be expanded. They just use that as the thing for the gas to go into. So the gas fills that up, and then you have another pipe coming out into your cooker. And it's more safe than the gas that you get delivered by the gas company, because their gas is all under pressure. So in order to be able to pump it into your house, it has to be under pressure, which is why you get gas explosions, because it's pressurized.
Yeah.
Whereas the one that you get from your own household waste isn't pressurized. So there's never going to be anything like explosions.
So it need to be pressurized in order for it to move through to where it needs to
yeah, but that's because they're delivering it from miles away. But where you've got your thing, it's just outside your house. It doesn't need to be pressurized. It's just pressurized inside the dinghy or whatever you've got it in. Yeah. And there's people saying, yes, there's going to a lot of explosive gas just hanging there. It's not really like that. It's sort of, yeah, like I say, it's not under pressure, so it's not really dangerous gas. It's the same gas that you're getting delivered to your house. So if you think a lot of explosive gas just hanging there, well, that's the same as your house. There's a lot of, and the IBMC is saying it needs to be pressurized. It doesn't need to be pressurized. In your cooker, there's actually an element like a regulator that takes away the pressure and adds oxygen at the end at the end of the cooker where your hob is. There's like another thing that allows oxygen to be entered in to mix with the gas to be able to provide it a sort of like atmospheric level so that it can be used. But the methane from your garden waste plant can just be used without adding oxygen to it. So you just have to make one alteration to your oven and it will work off of your own produced gas. I don't know why people would be against it.
Well,
it looks like in the comments everyone's like, oh, I don't know about that. It's like, well, you're getting free gas, so you could cut yourself off from the grid by doing this.
I mean,
that's what we're all aiming to do.
And I think with these sort of things, like for me, I'm just going to go and look into it now and see, because I've never heard about this before.
Called
either.
biogas.
And biogas. Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't read exactly what it's about, but I didn't realize that's what I've seen. Titles or whatever to do with that biogas.
Yeah.
And the only way we can really know is for us to look into it ourselves. So if you can be bothered, do you know what I mean? But if you're not, then yeah, it'd be like, I don't know about that, and leave it as that. But sometimes it is like what Dan is saying. That's a bit of autonomy there, and so it is interesting to find out whether am I right that it isn't. I don't think it will work. Do you know what I mean? Maybe I'm wrong, and if I am, okay, let me look more into this. Do you know what I mean? If I am, then haha, I told you. Look, here's a link to. That's what will be next week. Interesting.
Yeah, there's loads of places that already use it. Like Les Allison saying there's farms using it to heat greenhouses. Yeah, there's lots of people already doing it. And how nice would it be to ring your gas company up and say, yeah, can you just cut me off, please? Because I don't need your gas anymore. Thanks.
So heating up greenhouses as in like one of them on a farm, like a big ass greenhouse or just...
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's one big room. I'm wondering about the house. Like, if you got 3-4 bedroom house or whatever.
Yeah, people do it.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's massive ones. In India and Africa, places like India and Africa, they're all doing it because it means that you haven't got to rely on like a centralized gas company.
Grid,
so you can just do it for your house or for your town. There's like little villages that have got, they all put all their waste into this one place and then they all get gas for the village. So for places that are isolated or places that are being like effed over by banks and gas companies and electricity companies, it is really good for, let's say the third world.
I think you can learn out there, boy. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Alan Stevens said fulvic acid. Yeah, that's one of the nutrients in the shilajit, man. You lot should look for that shilajit. It's really good. Good for skin, your hair. Sort out your life, man. Sort out your mother loving life. Comes through the cracks in India. That's true. Yeah, they say from Himalayan cracks as well as there's somewhere else. But yeah, shilajit. There's a brand called Mountain Blood that's good, but Kate's definitely got some good shilajit on her website. So you should check that out. Raw Living, you know what I mean? .co.uk. So yeah, I saw someone, it's probably Alan, but someone mentioned about the energy, about being able to channel energy as life forms. And I was hearing, shout out to Vinny B, man. He's got a wicked interview with Amanda Vollmer and talking about depression, dealing with depression and stuff like that. And I think they mentioned something about, I think Amanda might have mentioned something about she was saying, through, because she's a doctor, but more of a holistic doctor and whatnot. But she's been through, the formal training and not, it's kind of not been into it and not sort of like under the spell. And she was talking about how she's come to the point of sort of accepting that maybe different diets work for different people. So it's, it's not necessarily like one thing. It's like everything can kind of work. It depends on maybe stomach, you know, like your blood type. Or,
Yeah. We was talking about this.
Lifestyle, yeah. There's all these elements.
Last
yeah.
week or something,
Yeah, exactly.
me and you.
And that's what, yeah. And I was, I think, like, because it seems to be, you know, like I've seen two, like, far ends of the spectrum now. And I could say relatively, I can't say like 100% like optimum health for either, but I could say relatively healthy people that seem happy. And do you know what I mean? But it's like the raw vegan lot, you know what I mean? And then the paleo, like carnivore lot. And it's just like, right. You know, yeah, you can, on both sides, you can see people who, I did do that, but then I switched to because it didn't work for me, or, you know, vice versa. And so I think that's probably an easier way to deal with it all and look at it as opposed to worrying too much about what is like. Keep your diet as clean as possible. You know, if you feel that you are more about, you know, whether it be being into meat and cheese and you know, raw milk and blah, 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 then, you know, do it as clean as possible. And then vice versa. If you're
100%
into more of the like vegan sort of diet, then you do that as clean. And if you feel it's keeping you healthy, then it probably works, man. Like, I think everyone, you know, they always kind of try and give us this idea of the perfect being and the perfect, you know, you live forever sort of thing. And it's like, that's not true, man. Like, you can only live as long as you're allowed to live, and do that as best as you possibly can. You know what I mean? Health is the number one reason I think anybody can get to live a good life, and so you gotta, you know, respect that and do your best to keep that balanced. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's so many. It's so conflicting out there. If you try, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, man, I want to start. How do I do it? It's like, all right, you know how to lose weight. You know what I mean? It's about both. It's about your diet and training. You know how to put on weight. It's about both. You know what I mean? So just make sure you do them the safest and cleanest ways possible. You know, in my opinion. I could be wrong, though. Someone debunked that. Someone's going to name their ute Debunk. Yeah, I thought I'd name him Debunk just because, you know, if you ever Googled his name.
Debunk, yeah.
Debunk.
That's a really good name.
You think so?
Debunk, yeah. Just
Debunk.
like debunk.
Debunk. Ah.
Yeah.
D.Bunk. Where we at, dog? Hey.
Oh, Chase 404. Good to see you again.
Oh, big up Chase 404, man. Been a minute. Happy moving. Must be moving house, boy. Yeah, man, that's hectic, boy. Moving house, hardcore. You realize how much shit you got that you never needed. Then you think, yeah, but I might need it. Yeah, it's pretty deep. Yeah, it's still on the purdies, man. You know what I mean? You got to sometimes let loose. I thought about drinking on this episode, actually. I ain't going to lie. I thought about having a little culture cipher, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you probably wouldn't. Dan wouldn't want that, and you probably wouldn't want that either, man. Start cussing everyone out. Get a bit loose-lipped, you know what I mean?
I have to come around and hold you up by the end. You're like, oh, do you know what? I love you, man.
Start, yeah.
Like, really,
Should we start the live
the thing
stream?
about you, yeah, right.
That's hilarious, man. Damien Bunk. Wow, you knew a guy called Damien Bunk, IBMCs, for real. So Chase 404 says, I need to fix up my diet. I turned 25 Friday. Woo! Happy birthday coming up, bruv. And I really want to get physical and mentally on it. Completely sober, so just need to fix the eating. Yeah. That's what it's about, man. It's like, once you want to start, it's like, and you're at a good age as well. You're like, the brain is fully developed now, as they say. You know, and it's time for, you know, if you feel like now is the time you want to get into this, it's going to be a lifestyle change and it's going to be part of who you want to be anyway. So that's a good thing. You know what I mean? A lot of people find it harder the older they get to switch it up. but you're at a point where, you know what I mean? I'm sure a lot of testosterone, you know.
Yeah.
So, the main thing is just like looking at what makes sense for you, I think, like, and then trying things out. Don't be afraid to try things out. I think everybody should fast, like, every now and again, because I think that's part of who we are as well, in terms of like whether we've developed this way and this sort of way of how we eat now or whatever. It's just like there's a time when it needs a cleansing. That's why when you sleep, what happened? You're not eating then, are you? So you're kind of fasting then. But if you can prolong that even better for yourself, I think the benefits are definitely. I've seen it. Dan's seen it. Like there's tons of information out there. So that's something you could start getting into, and it's also good for your mind, your mental as well. Like I found when I was doing it, especially through the food bar era, when I was fasting and then going to do a show, my mind was a lot quicker. I was like, a lot more things were coming up and that, as opposed to when I'd eaten before. And then the trick is as well, because it's hard. A lot of people are like, right, what, not eating till like 8 p.m. later, man. But it's like you build up to something like that, and if you think about it, like I said, when you go to sleep, that's already some kind of fast, you've eaten. They say about, the food sits in your belly, but I don't think that's true either. I think you are still, it's just slower. I think you might be digesting it slower, but I don't think.
Just try and not eat late at night. That's like the first thing is to set yourself just a sort of window of eating.
Yeah. Exactly.
Even if you're not into fasting, it's like just try and not eat. Try not having your first coffee until 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Try to stop eating at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then just bring it in a little bit more. It was normal 50 years ago to just have your tea at like 5:30, and that was the last thing you ate. It's just normal. Not even intermittent fasting. They never used to say it back then. They just used to do it.
Yeah, you just do it. And then the other way around is like you could do it in the morning, like so you say you wake up at 8 or whatever, then you could like, all right, you might usually have your breakfast 8:30 or 10, 9 or something, but then push it another hour, just like, and then build that up, do that for a week, and then push it another hour, then do that for a week, and then build,
and then go back. If you want to go back and have your 8 o'clock thing again, do that. But then just switch it up every now and then for a couple of weeks at a time or whatever. It's not. It doesn't have to be like like you're making some drastic change of like, I'm only going to eat for 4 hours a day. And do that. Do 4 hours a day. Try it. Try missing a day. Just see how you feel on it.
Yeah, see how you feel. And then there's also the thing of like when you get into the idea is that you're cleansing your system. Once you get into that, there are times where you might actually fall, ill, like you feel like you've got a cold or you feel like you're getting ill and that. And that's actually part of the detox.
Yeah.
So it happens with us, nearly every day sort of thing. But in what can trigger it are different things like the environment, the temperature, certain smells, things that can be like, oh, your body's just like, oh, for me to deal with that, I need to get rid of some of this. And what we've not been taught is that the snot and, your phlegm and whatnot is part of you detoxing something. It's not just things expressed and pushed out through your lungs as well. It's not just like you when you shit things out or sweat or whatever. And so if that starts happening, don't get shook like, oh well, man, since I've been doing distilled water, it's like I feel, people start getting a bit, but it's actually part of your body changing and for the better as well. Once you come out of that, think of the times you've had a fever, you're all curling and that on the bed, you don't move or whatever, 2 days, and once it's done, when the eyes thing, when you try and move your eyes, it's like, oh, it hurts, innit? But it's done when your eyes are not hurting anymore. And then you get up and it's like, right, you look at yourself in the mirror, it's like, right, boy, I look all right. Like, that's because you had a good detox, because you got rid of all the shit you needed to, mother lover. Your body is helping you, man. Body is powerful, trust that. Very powerful, man. Think about all the different adaptations the body can go through, but still maintains. You know what I mean? When you're seeing all these 600-pound so-and-so, or you're seeing like some long-distance runner who's running for 24 hours, or that's the body adapting to that, being able to maintain somehow,